Types of fish researchers are looking for are warm water fish, so they do most of their capture near the shore where the water's warmer. It can be transported from somewhere like here at Les and Jim's Lincoln Lanes into a whole new world. Lots of people will be hitting the road this weekend, and it's a good time for it too. According to AAA, gas prices are 25 cents lower now than they were at this time last year. Shooting not only led to one suspect being flown to the hospital by helicopter, it also shut down this stretch of Highway 64 for over 8 hours. Right now, there's not a ton here besides dirt and some equipment, but soon this will be a place where kids of all abilities can play together. Taking a quick look at the demonstration she's going to do to show us how to get a beautiful chalk drawing. Thursday marks the beginning of the NCAA tournament, known as March Madness. It's a time of year when everyone in the office creates a bracket, and sometimes productivity can drop for a day or two. Download the geocaching app and click Find Nearby Geocaches. From there, a map of all the caches in the area will pop up. I think my favorite thing that we have here tonight is the Dunk a Deputy up there. Before you do any traveling today, there are a few things you need to know. Once you get your beer, you can pick up your phone and click check in so people know that you're here. This year, peak time for colors in Wausau is October 10th through the 15th. There's still plenty of time to get your yummy treats. I've got mine right here. I've got my M&M Blizzard. Some knew each other, others just met. But all of the men wearing yellow coats have one thing in common. They gave up so much to serve our country.
Soldiers are soldiers, no matter where you go.
108 of the men who served embarked on the trip of a lifetime Monday to our nation's capital to see the memorials and monuments dedicated to them and their fellow soldiers.
I'm proud to be here with these other veterans.
Upon landing in Washington, D.C., these veterans were greeted with applause, cheers, and thank yous in Reagan National Airport. It was an especially important moment for the Vietnam veterans, who were greeted with silence and hatred when they returned home from the war.
When we got off the plane, that was unreal. I had big tears in your eyes.
It was wonderful. It's the homecoming that I think we have all longed for so many years.
At the World War II Memorial, one of the lawmakers who was instrumental in fundraising to get the memorial built made a surprise appearance. Former Senator Bob Dole says he's been visiting the memorial every Saturday that he's in town for 9 years.
They needed a chairman, so President Clinton asked me if I would do it, and I said yes. And we raised $270 million.
Each memorial visited was special to the veterans in different ways, but on the way home, the vets were surprised with something universal to each branch and war. They received letters from family, friends, and complete strangers thanking them for their service.
Yeah, that was fantastic. The number of letters that came in is amazing. I didn't know I knew that many people.
And some of the people who wrote them those letters were there to greet them with hugs and handshakes at CWA.
The entire Upper Peninsula.
Henry Laxdal and his team are responsible for protecting about 535 miles of the U.S.-Canada border.
Our job is to know every single person or thing that crosses that border.
As Border Patrol agents, they respond to threats at the ports of entry along the border. Other than the international bridge connecting Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, all of those 535 miles are a water border on Lakes Superior and Huron. About 60 agents typically patrol that border, but recently, Laxdal's officers have been needed elsewhere.
I'm sending probably 15 to 20% of my manpower that I have at my station down to the southern border to help them with their operations.
During his 2016 campaign, President Donald Trump emphasized securing the country's southern border with Mexico.
We're going to build a wall, folks.
So far, a barrier hasn't been built, but according to the government, the number of apprehensions so far in the 2019 fiscal year are up, leading to Laxdal's agents being sent from Sault Ste. Marie to the south. Laxdal agrees there is a crisis on the southern border. That crisis is pulling attention and resources away from the northern border.
The southern border is where the greatest risk is right now. And that's where most of the money, technology, personnel, and resources and infrastructure is being pushed to.
But in the future, those resources could very well be shifted north. If the Department of Homeland Security gains control of the southern border, smugglers could move their operations elsewhere.
Is that saying that, smuggling them into Canada and back to the United States is not an option for them? And I'd say yes, it's definitely an option for them.
A move north by criminal networks would present a problem for the largest land border in the world, which is already understaffed. When the end of September hits, the machines come out, and it's time to harvest.
All of our products are grown specifically for the craisins market.
Stephen Bartling and his brother own a cranberry farm in Manitowish waters.
It's really a family ordeal.
And they're the fourth generation to run the property.
It was started by my great-grandfather Delbert back in 1946.
Cranberry growing is a year-round job, but when fall harvest rolls around, things get a little bit busier. Stephen focuses on growing and harvesting, but this year the economic side of the cranberry business took a hit.
Primarily, we're just getting much better at growing them than we were at selling them.
This year, the USDA said farmers will only be able to sell 75% of their total product in the market. With too much supply and not enough demand, people in the industry knew they had to do something to control the market. But the other 25% won't necessarily go to waste.
They can use it as animal feed. It can be used as a soil amendment, but they'll find ways to utilize it outside of competitive markets.
The USDA hopes that by reducing what farmers are selling, the supply and demand will soon even out. The order might be a pain for farmers like Bartling in the short run, but in the long run, it will just mean all of the farm's ripe cranberries can be enjoyed and Stephen and his family can keep doing what they love.
It's a lifestyle. I mean, you really get to live it, do it, be it. I mean, what a great thing to do in the Northwoods.